Hello students, this is the next video on aptitude, and in this video we'll be learning average, mixture and allegations. Okay, in GATE, from this topic you'll get a very simple question, but in other state government examination and SSC CGL, they used to give good question basically on mixtures and allegations. Okay, where you have to use the allegation method also. So let us understand what is this method and how to solve questions from it. Okay, let us start. सबसे पहले initially very basic, how to find average. How to find average? ठीक है, if it is given like 256, 252, 258, 259 and say 253, ठीक है, and you have been asked to find average of these values. Now how will you find? What you will do is you will first method, if we say, or in our conventional method, that is nothing but you'll add all the terms, right, and you will divide by the number of terms. Number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. So this is divided by 5, and this will finally give you the value as 255.6. This is your average. Okay, second method, which can be applied, which is a surplus method also you can say, which is nothing but if it is written like 256 and 252, 258, 259, 253, okay, then take 250 common from all, okay, then what is left with? You are left with 6 here, 2 here, 8 here, 9 here and 3 here, okay. So this total 250 plus how much surplus all these are from 250. How much surplus these are? These are 6 plus 2, 8 to 10, 16, 9 plus 3, it is nothing but 28. And how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 5. And this is also the process to find the answer 255.6. Okay. Here what you can do is, this is a method which you can write it as the form as x plus surplus divided by total. Okay, this is the x which you have taken. This is the surplus. Surplus means the excess amount. Okay, how much all these are greater than this. Okay, and then you have to divide this by total numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total numbers. Okay, then there is one method known as weightage average method. Weightage average method. What is the weighted average method? Weighted average method. What is this method? This method is equal to N1A1 plus N2A2 plus N3A3 up to NKAK divided by N1 plus N2 plus N3 plus N4 plus up to NK. The traditional method which we used to follow to solve questions. This is weighted average method, where these A1, A2 are the averages, okay, and these N1, N2 are the elements. Fine. Now let us take one another example. Example, the average height of class of 12 students is given. The average height of class of 12 students is given as 107 centimeter. Okay, and if 18 new students with an average of 117 join the class, then find the new average. Okay, this is what you need to calculate. The average height of an 12 students are given, and if 18 new students are added. Okay, so first method will solve the first method, which is the conventional method, or you can say this weightage average method. ठीक है, फर्स्ट मेथड जो सब आप ऑलरेडी यूज करोगे विदाउट इवन if I'll not discuss it, then also you'll be using the same method, which is N1A1 12 students average 107, so 12 into 107 plus N2A2, which is 18 into 117 divided by N1 plus N2, which is 12 plus 18. When you solve this, you'll get the answer as 113. Now our method, which we have discussed second method, which is surplus method. It is equal to x plus surplus divided by total. Here x will be initially how many students are there? 12 students, and their height is 107. So 107 plus how much surplus this is. 117 is from 107, that you have to write 117 minus 107, this much surplus, and for how many number of students? 18 number of students into 18 divided by total, which is equal to 12 plus 18, and this will also give you the answer as 113. Okay, x, which is the initial average given, then the other average which is given, it is how much surplus than this, it is 117 minus 107, whatever value this will be, and this is surplus for how many new number of students, which is 18. So into 18 divided by 12 plus 18, this will give you the answer. Let us solve one more question on the same approach of surplus method. The question is given two groups of students, two groups of students wrote a test. दो ग्रुप है स्टूडेंट के, उन्होंने एक टेस्ट लिखा, ठीक है. द एवरेज स्कोर of 25 students of first group was 120, while that of the 35 students in the second group was 126. Okay, then what is the average score of both the groups? This you have to calculate. The groups of students, they wrote a test. The average score of 25 students का कितना है? 120. ठीक है, and that of the 35 student, it is given as 126. Now first use the surplus method. X plus surplus divided by total. This is our method. ठीक है, x we have taken as 120. 120 plus surplus means how much surplus is this? 126 minus 120. And for how many number of students? 35 number of students. So 35, and this will be divided by total 25 plus 35, and this will give you the answer 123.5. And if you want to use second method, which is weighted average method, then what you have to solve? How you have to solve second method? This is nothing but 25 into 120 plus 35 into 126, and this is divided by 60. 25 plus 35. This will again give you 123.5. Actually, why we use this method? Because the calculation here is bit easy. Okay, small calculations are there. Okay, whereas here you have to multiply big values. Fine. So this is all we have with the basic average kind of questions. Now let us move on to a bit more important types of questions. And before I start that, first of all, just go through this note. Note is, if initial concentrations are given, this note is nothing but it is used to identify when to use allegations and when to use weightage average method. ठीक है, अब क्या है, initial concentrations अगर given है and the ratio of the quantities are given, then to find out the resultant concentration we use weighted average method. ठीक है, if initial concentration आपको given है, रेशियो भी आपको गिवन है और आपको रिजल्टेंट निकालना है, तो रिजल्टेंट निकालने के लिए टू फाइंड आउट द रिजल्टेंट you should use weighted average method. Then again a second note, if initial concentrations are given here also, and in place of ratio of quantities here resultant is given, resultant concentration is given, ठीक है, then to find the ratio of quantities use alligation method. ठीक है, now what is alligation method? Let us discuss now what is actually an alligation method. Fine. अब जब रिजल्टेंट निकालना होगा और रेशियो गिवन है, then we use weighted average, and when resultant is given and you have to find the ratio, then use alligation. Okay, let us say this is some A, this is B, ठीक है, this is C, and here are the ratio of quantities, ठीक है, ratio of quantities here and here, ठीक है. A is nothing but A and B are initial concentrations. The C is known as resultant concentrations. ठीक है, this is the alligation method. I am telling you the alligation method. ठीक है, initial concentration can be a percentage fraction, or it can be some average, it can be cost price, it can be speed. ठीक है, it can be anything. ठीक है, ratio here, ratio can be given in the form of number of kg, number of observations. Okay, so whatever number it is given, that is to be kept here. ठीक है, and the percentage fraction every in the value given, that is to be kept in initial concentration. Don't worry, अभी example करेंगे, समझ में आ जाएगा. ठीक है, now let us take an example. The question is given here: two jars contains acid at 74% and 44% concentration respectively. ठीक है, दो जार है, they contains acid at 74% and 44% respectively. ठीक है, if 20 liters are withdrawn from the first jar, if 20 liters are withdrawn from the first jar, then you have to find how many liters from the second jar should be added so that concentration of resultant is 50%. ठीक है, अब सबसे पहले आपने डायग्राम बना लो, द ग्राफ विच वी हैव प्रिपेयर्ड. इनिशियल कंसंट्रेशन व्हाट इज गिवन 74% and 44%. ठीक है, लेट अस से दिस इज A, this is B, and what is given, resultant is also given 50%. So we have discussed that when the resultant is given, again you have to find the ratio, then what you have to use, you have to use alligation method. ठीक है, so alligation method will be applying here. Fine. So what is alligation method? Now just look at it carefully. Here what you have to write is 74 minus 50. You have to write here 24, and here you have to write 50 minus 44, which is equal to 6. ठीक है, this value is lesser than 50, so 50 minus 44. This value is greater than 50, so 74 minus 50. You have to keep the value positive. That's it. ठीक है, so ratio is nothing but A is to B, which is equal to 6 is to 24, which is equal to 1 is to 4. Okay, so whatever values you have at the end, that must be in this ratio. Okay, so it is given that 20 liters is withdrawn from the first jar. So how much should be added in the second jar to keep the concentration 50%? Okay, so what we have to keep in mind is 20 liters given, so we need one value here in this place, which when we put, combine these two, form the ratio 1 is to 4. So obviously 20 is to 80 will give you 1 is to 4. So your answer will be 80 liters must be added to keep this concentration 50%. Okay, this is the alligation method, which makes the question very easy, right? So 20 is to 80, when you calculate, it will be 1 is to 4 only. Fine, this is the use of alligation method. Let us take one more example on it. Example: a vessel contains 30 liters of 60% nitric acid. How much water should be added to the vessel so that the concentration of acid becomes 40%? ठीक है, solution. Now for such question, don't get confused. Don't get confused. Here 30 liters of 60% nitric acid. Okay, we are not talking about water. There is no percentage of water given. So when there is no percentage of water given, अब water के लिए तो कुछ दिया नहीं है ना. So what you have to take 0%. ठीक है, nitric acid is given 60%. ठीक है, so that the concentration of the acid becomes 40%. It means the resultant is given 40%. Okay, now what will be the ratio? 60 minus 40 you have to keep here 20, and this is lesser than 40, so 40 minus 0 will be 40. So your ratio will be, ratio is nothing but 2 is to 1, 40 is to 20, right? Now what is asked, that 30 liters of nitric acid is given. Okay, now your ratio is 2 is to 1. Okay, nitric acid is to water. So nitric acid कितना दिया है, 30 liters is given. And how much water should be added to the vessel to make the concentration 40%? Whatever value you are writing here, it must keep the ratio 2 is to 1. So what you have to write? Simple, 15 you have to write, right? Because 30 is to 15 will form 2 is to 1. 15 into 2 is 30. Okay, this is how you can find the answers for such questions. Okay, fine. So let us move on to one another example, where the values are given in the fractions. Here in this example which we'll be taking, here the values are given in the fractions. Let us say question is 4 liters of mixture of milk and water in the ratio 7 is to 1 is mixed with 6 liters of a mixture of milk and water in the ratio 9 is to 7. Okay, then what is asked, what is the ratio of milk and water in resultant mixture? Now just look at the question. 4 liters of mixture of milk and water in the ratio 7 is to 1 is mixed, and 6 liters of mixture of milk and water in the ratio 9 is to 7 is mixed. ठीक है, what is the ratio of the milk and water in the resultant mixture? अब यहाँ पे आपसे पूछा क्या है, यहाँ पे आपसे पूछा है resultant mixture. It means we will be using weighted average method. ठीक है, और weighted average method अगर आप यूज करोगे तो it will be 4 liters of mixture of milk. You have to find the ratio of milk divided by water. This is the ratio you want. ठीक है, तो न्यूमरेटर में all the values which will be taking, they must contains the fraction of milk only. So in 7 is to 1, if it is given like, I think you know this, if it is given like that 7 is to 1 is milk is to water, then how much milk is there? 7 is to 8, right? Why 8? 7 plus 1 is the complete mixture. तो उस बॉटल में, उस बकेट में कंप्लीट मिल्क कितना है? इज 7 in complete 8. ठीक है, this is how you have to write. Okay, so when we use weighted average method, it will be milk by water, and this is equal to 4 liters of milk, 7 by 8, plus 6 liter into 9 by 16 divided by 4 liters of water plus 6 liter in water. ठीक है, this will give you 11 by 5, and which is known as milk by water. This is your answer. Okay, just look at it again. It is given 4 liters of mixture of milk and water. ठीक है, so 4 liter of milk I have taken, then 6 liter of mixture of milk and water, then here also from 6 liter of milk I have taken. Here in that mixture I have taken water, and in that mixture I have taken water also. So this is the combined total ratio of milk and water. ठीक है, and this method is weighted average method. Okay, why so? Why we have used it? Because here the resultant mixture has been asked and the ratio is given. All the ratios are given. Okay, so we haven't used alligation here. Right, now move on to the other kind of question, and before that there is a concept which is very common, you have heard earlier also. Out of V liters of pure milk, if X liters is taken out and is replaced by water, okay, and out of the resultant, after replacing out of the resultant, if x liter is taken out again and replaced by water, and this happens and this continues so on up to for n times, this continues for n times, then the fraction of milk in the resultant will be equal to V minus X divided by V to the power n, where n is the number of times this process has been repeated, V is the initial liters of milk which is available initially, okay, and X is the liter which has been taken out, okay. So V minus X divided by V to the power n will be the answer for such case, okay. Then there is another concept, same type, if out of V liters, firstly, if x liters is taken out, and is replaced by the water, okay. Initially x liter is taken out and is replaced by the water, then from the resultant again y liter is taken out and replaced by the water, then from the resultant there is some other value z liter is taken out and replaced by the water, then in such case fraction of milk will be equal to V minus X divided by V into V minus Y divided by V into V minus Z divided by V. This is the answer. Okay. In the above case, we are taking out X liters only every time, but in this case, initially we have taken X liters, then we have taken out Y liters, and then we have taken out Z liters. Okay. Now let us solve one question on this concept. Question is, a greedy worker, suppose it is a worker in a honey factory, in some honey factory, okay, what he do is he steals 10 liters from a full vat of honey. He steals 10 liters from a full vat of honey and replace it by water, okay. After some times what he did is he again steals 10 liters, okay, from same vat and replaced by water, and process the same, replaced by water, okay. You have, and finally the ratio of honey to water is given, is now after doing this much replacement and this much withdrawing, finally the ratio of honey to water is present 49 by 32. Then you have to find what is the capacity of vat initially. Okay, vat is nothing but initially a bucket, you can say, where honey is filled, okay. Then he has taken out 10 liters from a full vat of honey, okay, and replaced it by water. Then he again taken out 10 liters and replaced it by the water, and after doing all these things, the final ratio of the honey to water in that vat is 49 to 32. Then you have to find the final, what is the initial capacity of the vat, okay. Very easy, you can use the formula directly. Here the same liter is taken out, so honey in final fraction will be, honey कितना होगा final fraction में, this is honey to water, okay, but we are talking about honey only, so how much honey will be there in final fraction? It is equal to 49 divided by 49 plus 32, right, as we did in the last case. This is equal to 49 by 81, and it is nothing but our formula, V minus X divided by V to the power n. How much n I should put? How much n? 2. 2 should be here. Why 2 should be here? Because he did this work of stealing and again replacing 2 times only. Okay. So 49 by 81 is equal to V. We have to calculate. X is given. X is the number of liters the quantity is taking out. He is withdrawing. So X minus 10. V minus 10 divided by V whole square. This square will go this side, so it will be under root. When we remove this square, this will be under root. So this is 7 by 9 is equal to V minus 10 by V, and when you solve you'll get V as 45 liters, and this is your final answer. Okay, this is how we can solve the questions which depends on which this particular concept. Okay, then there is last thing which I need to discuss. You can take it as a note. If three or more quantities are mixed to form a resultant concentration, then there are infinite possibilities for the ratio in which they can be mixed. Ratio in which they should be mixed. What is meant by this statement? If A, B, C, three or more quantities are mixed to form some resultant, let us say D is the resultant, okay, then how much combination it can be formed to form particular D? That combination, that possibilities will be infinite. Okay, why I need to just talk about this concept? Because once in a state government examination they have asked this question. Question is this: three varieties of rice cost respectively 18, 25 and 28 rupees per kilo. Okay, find the ratio in which three could be mixed. Three means all these three varieties. Three varieties could be mixed so that the resultant would be worth rupees 20 per kilo. Okay, so you can write the answer directly for this case since three varieties are given, or if three or more varieties, and your answer will be infinite, right? Because there are infinite possibilities in which this can be mixed to form this resultant worth rupees 20 per kilo. So this is your answer for this case. Okay, so this is all we have with the average mixture and alligations. Use alligation method when ratio has been asked and the resultant is given. Use weighted average method when the resultant is have to be, you have to find the resultant and the ratios are given. Okay, then this is all we have with average mixture and alligation. This is quite an easy topic. Okay, so thank you for watching the video.